J.D. Vance, the junior senator from Ohio, stepped onto a world stage. He was attending the Munich Security Conference, a prestigious event. World leaders and diplomats gather there annually. The goal? To discuss global security challenges. Vance, a rising star in the Republican Party, was there to make his voice heard. But his words would spark a firestorm of controversy. Vance's speech focused on the war in Ukraine. He questioned the level of American involvement. He argued that the United States had its own problems to address. These included issues like immigration and the economy. He implied that these domestic issues should take precedence over foreign entanglements. These statements did not sit well with many in the audience. The response was swift and sharp. European leaders and diplomats bristled at Vance's remarks. They saw Ukraine as a crucial front in the fight against authoritarianism. They perceived Vance's stance as isolationist and short-sighted. The senator from Ohio had struck a nerve, exposing a deep divide in how the United States and Europe viewed the world. The chilly reception in Munich was no surprise. Germany felt a deep connection to the conflict in Ukraine. The historical echoes of Russian aggression were impossible to ignore. The ghosts of the Cold War still lingered. American support for Ukraine was about safeguarding democracy. Vance's emphasis on domestic issues alienated his European audience. They saw it as a sign that America was turning inward, that it was abandoning its role as a global leader. This perception was fueled by years of shifting American foreign policy, policies that often seemed erratic and unreliable. The trust that had once bound the transatlantic alliance was fraying. Vance's speech exposed the fragility of this partnership. The controversy in Munich revealed a fundamental difference in perspectives. Europe saw the war in Ukraine as an existential threat. They believed American support was essential to deterring Russian aggression. The stakes were too high to prioritize domestic concerns over international security. Vance's speech challenged these beliefs, creating a rift. While Vance's Munich speech sparked outrage in Europe, it found a more receptive audience elsewhere. In Moscow, his words were met with nods of agreement. Russian state media, known for its pro-government stance, praised Vance's skepticism of American involvement in Ukraine. They saw it as validation of their own narrative, which portrayed the West as aggressors meddling in Russia's sphere of influence. Vance's call for America to focus on its own problems resonated in Moscow. It played into a long-standing Russian strategy of exploiting divisions within the West. By highlighting internal disagreements, Russia aimed to weaken the transatlantic alliance and undermine support for Ukraine. Vance's speech, whether intentionally or not, served this purpose perfectly. The positive reception in Moscow highlighted the stark contrast in how Vance's words were perceived. While Europe saw them as a betrayal, Russia embraced them as a sign of weakness and division within the West. This divergence in interpretations underscored the deep ideological gulf that separated these two worldviews. J.D. Vance's Munich moment was a study in contrasts. His speech, delivered with conviction, exposed the fault lines in the transatlantic relationship. It revealed the diverging priorities and perceptions that separated the United States and Europe on the issue of Ukraine. While his words sparked outrage in Munich, they found a receptive audience in Moscow, highlighting the deep ideological divide that characterized the global stage. The contrasting reactions to Vance's speech were a stark reminder of the complexities of international relations. They demonstrated the power of words to both unite and divide, and they underscored the importance of understanding the historical and cultural contexts that shape our perceptions of the world. The debate sparked by Vance's speech continues to reverberate. It serves as a reminder that the future of global security depends on finding common ground. It depends on bridging the divides that separate us. The question remains, can we overcome these differences, or are we destined to remain trapped in a world of contrasting realities? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.